Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great night. I wanted to make a quick video tonight and talk about insider trading or unethical conduct that takes place within organizations to basically cover their expenses, but done so in a way that they submit false paperwork in order to ensure that they receive some sort of financial benefit in that process. Um, I think most people are familiar with the concept of insider trading and how that works when it comes to people with certain knowledge being able to financially profit in scenarios where they shouldn't. We see this happening a lot within government, and it's referred to oftentimes as lobbying. But I think when we take a deeper look at the financial payouts behind that, it becomes very evident that in a lot of cases, lobbying is just another name for what appears to be to most people with half a brain cell insider trading. So we already know that there's high levels of corruption within a lot of levels of government, and that's certainly not limited to the federal level. It trickles down into state government as well. And that is what I wanted to talk a little bit about this evening. I want to talk about Title 4D and Title 4E when it comes to reimbursements for certain things that take place at a state level. When we talk about support orders and enforcement of support orders, even in situations where it's unreasonable and unethical to try to enforce certain things, a lot of times that'll continue to take place because there's a financial incentive through the court systems to keep that revenue stream going. And there's something called matching funds, where when a certain amount is ordered in support, whether it's a reasonable amount or not, there's matching funds that are received. When there are court appointed attorneys involved in a case, there is a certain amount of funds that can be paid to those people as reimbursements. Now, something to consider is that when these people are filing for reimbursement for compensation for work that they say they've performed, it can create a paper trail, and that paper trail can clearly show whether or not those funds were obtained ethically or whether they were obtained on the basis of fraud. I'm just going to kind of leave that statement and just let that kind of simmer a little bit, because sometimes when you dig a little bit deeper into case law in a certain type of case, and it could be any number of different types of cases, but specifically I'm talking about a form of unethical enrichment in family court, where there is collusion and a structured, incentivized system that is perpetuated by these individuals involved. And the sole purpose is just to keep their ability to pay their bills and, to keep themselves financially enriched going forward. They don't really have a vested interest in what's best for the children involved. When they say best interest of the children, maybe what we should see that as, if we're being honest with ourselves, is what's in the best interest for the adults, and they are going to leverage those children to do what's in the adults' financial best interest. Because in all actuality, that's the truth of what's taking place. If you have any confusion about that, or you need clarification on that, please leave a comment below, because I would be happy to discuss this in more detail. I have lived firsthand experience of what was just insanity in the courtroom. I've seen falsified, fraudulent documents submitted in my specific case. There have been a whole lot of horrific things that took place to me, and I am not an isolated incident when it comes to this. And it's certainly not limited to the state that I reside in. This is happening all across the country because it is lucrative for conflict in family court to be exacerbated as a means of generating revenue. It's not in the best interest of the parents. It's not in the best interest of the children. It's in the best interest of the state because that is how they continue to make money. They can't make money if conflicts are resolved. And unfortunately, there aren't many judges. There are a few. I don't want to make a generalized statement, but by and large, most judges do not really concern themselves too much with the psychological well-being of the children involved in a custody case or the psychological well-being of the parents involved. And as a result of that, they don't often make rulings that are going to ensure the psychological well-being of the participants in a litigation in a family law proceeding. I have been struggling a lot to kind of navigate that process with really a lack of understanding of what that entails. When I first became exposed to the family court litigation system, having no understanding of that whatsoever, I came in there very naive. I thought that the legal system was structured to provide remedy, to provide justice. And in some of the hearings, I have experienced that, and in many, I have not. So I have no delusions now about what actually takes place on a deeper level within family court. And I have to say, the amount of unethical conduct by many of the parties involved in family court proceedings, it's staggering. I mean, it is really way beyond what you would think it would be if you have no exposure to it. Please be careful when you get into relationships. Please be careful when you have children because you don't know what the future holds. I mean, we all want to hope for the best, but you never know what the future trajectory of that relationship might be. Do what you can to protect yourself from any potential fallout in the long term because we just live in a society right now where people seem to be only out for themselves and they really don't care about the carnage and the wreckage that they create when they weigh in on things that they really have no business weighing in on. I don't know what else to say about it at this point, but I would just say the people that did things to my family through the court system, they know what they did. They know that what they did was unethical. They know that what they did to my children was harmful, and they know that what they did to me was harmful. I don't expect any apologies. I have no delusions about them making amends to me for what they've done to harm me because I really don't think that they see their conduct as a problem because the thing about being unethical is when you do it for a certain amount of time and it seems to be permitted and you seem to be getting away with it, you have a tendency to continue that behavior with impunity. I'm not saying that that's the way that it should be, but it just seems to be the way that a lot of aspects of society function. I hope that reform can take place, but until we do something to address the broken legal system and the ways in which it generates revenue, I think we're going to continue to see parents abused through the legal system and children denied access to a parent by and large solely for the purpose of generating revenue. And the reason for that is that if visitations are limited, there is a structure to it that maximizes the amount that is repaid. So they want to keep that intentional divide between the children and the parent because that is what makes them the most money. When they say best interest of the child, what you should hear in your head is, this is in the best interest of any federally refunded or federally repaid appointments involved in the litigation process, whether that be court-appointed attorneys, whether it be guardian ad litems, anyone involved that's seeking reimbursement on some level from the government is really only going to do what's in their best interest. They don't care about the children. I'm going to say that again. They do not care about the children involved in that litigation. As a parent, if you're sending communications to a guardian ad litem, for instance, and that guardian ad litem isn't even opening up those communications until she's sitting on a telephone hearing call, I think it's pretty evident that she has no interest in what you have to say regarding your children, even if she's appointed to represent your children. She is only going to do what she wants to do. I'm not going to say her name. I think if anyone wants to do the research, they can figure out who I'm talking about. Have a good day.